Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Elon Musk is starting a new political party. He's upset at Donald Trump because of the big beautiful bill, and he is now creating the America Party, which is going to be a third party in American politics, and he thinks that he is going to be able to go out there and, put candidates out who are going to win elections, and the whole thing is ridiculous. We had a lot of people that are talking about it that were asking me to do a video on this, and I just had to do a video when I saw him go out there yesterday and officially create this party, because it's just a very strange situation and it's a very dumb thing to do. People will say, is this going to hurt Republicans in the midterms or in 2028? And it's possible that this thing doesn't even get off the ground, for one, but for two, I don't know who exactly would show up to vote for this party as it stands right now anyways. Maybe some people who probably otherwise would have voted libertarian, but he's just trying to sabotage. He was working with Trump and he was getting some things done, obviously, at the early onset of Trump's term. Now he's just throwing that all away. He's spitting in Trump's face saying, oh, you were on Epstein's jet, even though he walked it back, which why would you do that if you actually believed that he was, going to the island or in these documents, which again, he was on the plane, but that was a long time ago. Billionaires in the 90s in New York City hung out with each other. He flew to New Jersey. That's, not really that big of a deal. We all know that. We've known it for a long time. A lot of people have. But it's just very inconsistent, because everything Donald Trump campaigned on was in this bill. And if you're being honest with yourself and you're looking at the bill, because if it's really about spending, there is more in spending cuts in this bill than in new tax cuts. So the Democrats are fear-mongering about Medicaid right now because of that, because there's these spending cuts. And then you look at the new tax cuts. The Democrats are lying about them. They're saying, oh, well, they're for the upper class or whatever. The upper class tax brackets, those were permanently lowered. The corporate tax rate as well. This was a tax bill. Obviously, it extended it for the middle class, and all of the other tax cuts, whether they're on tips, overtime, Social Security, even if you want to say, oh, it's in the form of a deduction, it's not entirely the point, because the outcome will still be the same. The main takeaway is that you have the promises that are kept, and this does benefit the middle class, and it's everything Trump campaigned on. Border funding. There's a lot of money that's going to ICE, the Golden Dome. There's not something in here that Trump did not campaign on, even when it came down to removing the Biden pork and from the spending and a lot of these green energy subsidies. Elon's upset about that. I think that's the main thing that did it. And it's you want to start a new party, get 0.2% of the vote. It's hilarious. Now, let me be honest when I say that 0.2% of the vote can go a long way and hurt Republicans. And you could look at how many elections we lost even in 2024 when Trump won because of the third parties. Trump was smart to get the endorsement of RFK Jr. and when it came down to the libertarians, try to win some of their voters, and he fulfilled the main promise, which was to pardon Ross Ulbright. And it's that really went a long way. He won the popular vote, but who didn't win the popular vote and who barely lost because of third parties? Eric Hovde in Wisconsin, even though there were some other problems there and shenanigans. Mike Rogers in Michigan, which, same thing to an extent. You look at Sam Brown in Nevada, and you look at, there's so many examples that you could point to, but if they just got those 3 Senate seats, and there's plenty of House districts as well that fit that bill, Republicans would have 56 seats in the Senate, but they're at 53. And obviously there's plenty of reasons for that, funding, you name it. That's not the point. The bottom line is third parties just hurt. They don't help. And we could talk about the platform in a second, but this is a two-party system. You don't have to like that, but again, you have a choice. And the parties can change over time. They're major institutions. The Democrats at one point, actually stood up for the working class. Now they don't. Sometimes they pretend to do, but they don't. The Republicans used to be the party of the wealthy. That has changed. Now they're the party of the working class, the middle class, the common man. These things change. And the Republican Party compared to 20 years ago is nearly unrecognizable. And the Democratic Party compared to 20 years ago is relatively unrecognizable as well. So parties can change. You can change by working within the system. Trying to tank or say, oh no, we're going to spoil the Republicans, you get nothing out of it. You get absolutely nothing. And they never learn. They never take the right lesson from that at all. It's like you don't really have like a multi-party system. You're not going to be able to pick a party that believes in everything. But even if you did have that, you would still be voting for a party that is like a lesser party. Let's say you're in like Europe. Maybe they can hold leverage over certain policy, but you kind of have the ideological diversity in the GOP already, where you have people that are able to do that. So again, it does work to a large degree. And again, if you don't vote for the Republicans, you get the Democrats, and we know how they are, and that's the one-party state. It's the party that is wrong about everything instead of the party that is right most of the time, even though, yes, Republicans have flaws. So I will say that to the people that don't like certain aspects of the bill, but I think a lot of those people just don't understand what's in the bill, and Elon's criticism is not legitimate. And you could look at his platform, which is a bit strange, but this is what it is: reducing the debt, responsible spending. A lot of that means he's cutting entitlements. That's a third rail issue that's very unpopular. It's why Democrats are trying to fearmonger about Medicaid right now. I don't think it's really going to amount to much in the long run. Maybe I'm just being optimistic, but that's the way it is. Modernize the military with a robot army. He wants a robot army. That's going to win over voters, really. Pro-tech. Accelerate to win in AI, which again, the whole AI stuff, it's in my opinion, he's just trying to accelerate the development of AI, which I think is more dangerous than positive. Less regulation across the board, but especially in energy. That's what Trump is giving you. Free speech is what he stands for, which again, that's what Trump is basically giving you. And pro-natalist, which Trump is basically giving you. And he doesn't even say how he would enact a lot of these policies. But regardless, if you look at his track record and what he supported in the past, it'd be very likely that this is going to be his platform, which, again, reopen the border. I don't know if he's going to be pro illegal immigration, but when it comes to H-1Bs, you basically will have that border de facto wide open. Free trade, that's in fact, yeah, he's a supporter of free trade. Regime change in South Africa. I don't know about that, but if that happened, it would happen. It probably would be a positive thing, but not on our dime, not with our military, obviously. But he does have that personal grievance there, and probably would spend a lot of time on that. Cutting Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, that's not popular, and he still would support a lot of the aspects of the Green New Deal, which would not be good. Subsidies for Tesla, but not these oil cars, and the carbon tax, which he's been a supporter of. He supported, what he calls sensible gun control, but in reality, we understand how these things go in that department. So this isn't his technically real platform, but he's hinted at support for a lot of these things in the past as well. So it's not like his platform appeals to very many people besides maybe Elon Musk cult members, and they probably would be voting for that party, but it's not a very big share of the electorate at large. It's not. And when you look at what his strategy is, it gets even worse here, because he goes on to say that his party will focus on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Well, here's the deal. 8 to 10 House districts, that's what the House is going to be decided within. 2 or 3 Senate seats, that is basically what the entire Senate, I would say, would not necessarily be decided within. But I think that if Democrats got a clean sweep, and let's say that Musk focused on Georgia, North Carolina, and Maine, and he did somehow take 1% of the vote away and screwed Republicans in all three of them. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you see what you're trying to do. You're trying to help out the Democrats or hurt the Republicans over personal grievances more so than anything else. So yeah, seriously, screw this guy. Now you could say, what if he focuses on safe red seats where he tries to put pressure on rhinos? But to put pressure on them for what? For not, to not support a bill that would fund border security and ICE and extend the tax cuts for the middle class and add tax cuts that disproportionately benefit the working class. Overall, there's a lot of potential in that bill. It's a major net positive thing, even if you want to say it's a gamble because we don't know how it's going to probably turn out impacting the deficit or healthcare coverage or anything like that. I still think that if you look at the actual baseline, the bill will pay for itself. And I do think that given what it does with immigration, what it does with the economy, this whole work requirement for Medicaid thing, you're going to have less of a reliance on Medicaid. It's going to be less bloated. You're going to get the illegals out. You're going to get them off the system. And that would be a major, major victory. And you would see the bill pay for itself in that regard. So I don't know what Musk is upset about the spending. What spending? It cuts spending. That's what Musk wants to do. He wants to go further. He wants to go further to the point of, an electoral wasteland. I mean, the Republicans, if they actually got rid of Social Security or, Medicare in general, it would save money, but it's a third rail issue for a reason. And Trump understands that, which is what separates him apart from the Bushes and the Paul Ryans and the Mitt Romneys of yesteryear. And Musk apparently has some sort of nostalgia for that, even though he was a Democrat back then, because that's how he's behaving. So I think the whole thing is childish. I think Musk is a childish person. He's a very smart guy on paper. He's the richest man in the world for a reason. Nobody's going to deny that. But when it comes down to politics, he is kind of very emotional. Personal grievances are playing a major role here. And his party's not going to go anywhere. But his end goal is to screw over the Republicans. I don't think he's really going to get very many votes at the end of the day. He possibly, given how he's been in the past, maybe he could even peel votes off the other side. But the main takeaway is that you're creating a party that's like a carbon copy of the Libertarian Party, except it's not even libertarian, and the positions that it takes that are libertarian are just the unpopular positions. I don't know what exactly this guy's doing. But it's just ridiculous, and he needs to stop. Trump probably at some point should have a meeting with the guy and hopefully get him to at least come down off the ledge and stop this blatant sabotage of the GOP's chances to hold and extend their trifecta in the midterms. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.